Clerk, next item.
Wait a minute. Got to go back to where we were.
Right. And that is to talk about your motion, which is to delay for 60 days the hillside vote.
I want a clarification.
Yes.
I think I heard the law director right, and please correct me, that we cannot delay today's agenda item. So I guess my question is, we cannot delay the agenda item. There's nothing else to discuss.
He said we couldn't pass yes or no early, but we could delay it.
He said we
Well, no, I thought he also said that we could not take that agenda item off of today's agenda.
You can table or defer it. What you can't do is take any kind of affirmative vote that's going to deprive people of a property right or due process. If you're merely continuing it, those rights continue. It's if you decided you were going to vote now when people presumed they were going to be able to come at 6 to talk on the issue, that's a problem. But if you feel it's for extenuating circumstance, it needs to be tabled for further research or inclemency of whether you can table it or continue it.
Okay, and then my second point of clarification, can we do that in commission when there's zonings that we're discussing?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So the law director has opined that you have a proper motion and properly seconded. Commissioner Broyles. Commissioner Schaus.
I just wanted to ask the maker of the motion, I guess, Mr. Brown, you did not mention MPC. Is there an MPC component involved?
Yes, I didn't give the total number and scope of who would be involved, but I see it would be commission, city council, MPC, developers, anybody who has expertise in that area. And the meeting's going to be sunshine and open, but this needs to be done.
I just felt, we heard all the debate for 3 hours the other night, and somebody had a good point. He said, I hope there's professionals involved. And, of course, MPC's professionals, whether many people agree with their opinion or not, they're professionals. I just wanted them to have some involvement in it. And would it be the same task force, or is that for someone else to decide? There was, 23 people, a couple of guys resigned. And
I don't think it needs to go back to the same task force. I think that this needs to be a committee possibly put together by commission chairman and the council chairman.
Okay, I think it's a good idea, and I've heard the 15% number is the big stumbling block I've heard from most people on the street, at church, at Kroger, and everywhere, the 15%. So I hope we can define that and embellish that somewhat. Thank you.
Commissioner Wright.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is for benefit of my staff at home. They're still getting lots of calls on this particular issue, but that's not what I'm asking right now. I'm asking, although his light is on, Commissioner Norman, I need to know how you feel about this as we continue this discussion for the next few minutes.
Okay, Mr. Chairman.
Please.
I'm fine with the postponement now. I think the postponement, there's some allusion possibly to something being like a compromise or a mediation or something like that. No, I'm not about that at all. We are very confident in the plan. We want to, at best, have time to express more about the details of the plan. With this monumental misinformation campaign that's taking place, it's probably to our benefit to postpone and confront that misinformation and have plenty of time to do it. And so this will be, the postponement will be about additional workshops, additional time for both sides to present their issues. I really don't think it's beneficial what we did the other night in terms of public hearing. But as long as the opponents have a presentation and they stick with the plan, they stick with a discussion of what the plan actually is, we're fine with that. We've spent 3 years on this. We'll keep going, keep trying to get this across. We're very confident in the credibility and the ultimate benefit of this plan for this community.
Commissioner Broyles.
I want to support Tony's position on this. This task force has worked on this for 3 years, as he said. I've been to some of the task force meetings, not the presentations they did out in the community, but the actual meetings where the work was done. I know how hard they've worked on this, how much time they've put into it. I agree with Tony, there is no need for any other committee to come in and muck around with this. It's a solid, good plan. All the screaming about the 15% slope issue, there's already policy in place that deals with 15% slope. And actually, what this plan does, it actually goes in and refines those regulations for 15% slope, or that policy, excuse me, for 15% slope.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. I didn't open this up for a discussion on this item in detail. I opened it up for a discussion and a vote on a postponement.
I'm sorry, but Commissioner Brown, I believe you said as part of that you wanted to put this committee together to take another look at the plan. Is that not part of your motion?
Yes, it is, but that doesn't mean discussing it today.
I understand.
It's 3 hours Tuesday night and got nowhere.
Well, what I'm discussing has to do with whether or not it's prudent to throw this to another committee. I don't think that it is.
But you're going on and talking about all of the details in the thing, and that's not part of this discussion.
Well, what I'm addressing is why I don't think it needs to go back to a committee, but I think that people do need to look at the details. It's because there is misinformation, particularly about this 15% slope issue.
I'm going to give Commissioner Brock a little leeway. Are you finished, or do you?
Well, my point that I was making, and I was almost done, just need a couple more sentences, is that the 15% slope policy is already in place. What this does is refine it using more current technology. It doesn't dramatically change the 15% policy that's already there. What it does is refines it and makes it more accurate and more fairly applied.
Mr. Briggs.
I'm not really going to, I don't want to chime in on the motion or the debate that's going on right here, but there may be people that come down here this evening that pay their $8 to park, and I've had this happen to me when I've come down to city council meetings, is that the place will be packed and then they'll decide to defer something, and then all these people that came down here didn't have an opportunity to speak. What I might suggest is that this evening, and by the way, I agree a lot with what you say, Commissioner.
Well, that was my reason for trying to put it on at 2 o'clock so that we could get the notification out to these people where they wouldn't come down.
Well, my problem is I don't know who's coming. I don't know who to call. And, I mean, I doubt if they're going to be checking the news when they get off at, I mean, hardly they'd have to leave at 5. I mean, all I don't want to do is to have a bunch of people show up down here that want to have a say, and we just tell them to pay their parking ticket and go home, is that we don't have to vote on it tonight if that's what, you know, I really want to defer to Tony Norman, but if they do come down here expecting to want to tell us something, I want to give them the opportunity to do it. You know, we can ask questions. We don't have to vote on it tonight. I really agree with what you're saying about we need to, you know, if we want to get this out just as an informational, and I think that's what Tony said also, to get it out as an informational issue more to the public, since it now has everyone's attention. But I would like, if people come down here, to give them the opportunity to have their say about this tonight. We also may want to limit the discussion on it, because it could go on all night, but maybe talk about it an hour, let everyone down here be, you know, let them know that we will have an opportunity again. But I just think it's wrong for citizens to come down here, they fill the place up, and we just tell them to go home, that we're not going to listen to them.